Hello artist, I've got all my supplies here ready to make an initial plaque. This lesson today is adapted from Cassie Stevens' book, Clay Lab for Kids. If you need a recipe on how to make some salt dough clay, I also made a video on how to do that, so check it out. It's called How to Make Salt Dough Clay. I made my salt dough clay a couple days ago and have just been storing it in this container here. Because I made it a few days ago, I poured myself a little bowl of flour. So if it is really sticky, I can use the flour on my hands and that will help. I'm also working here on a piece of parchment paper. You need to work on a piece of wax paper, a plastic placemat, something that will help with the stickiness because this will stick to a table or a counter. And then your project will be ruined when you go to lift it up. All right, I am just gonna knead in a little bit of flour into my clay here. It is a little bit tackier than I want it to be, a little bit stickier than I want it to be. So I'm just gonna work in some, see what I mean? Some flour here. You don't have to do this if yours is not sticking. If yours is nice and smooth, you are ready to go. As artists, you have to problem solve as you go. In school, we like to call it critical thinking. Artists have to do that all the time. All right, so this is feeling better. I'm gonna pull a little over half of it. And this is when you need to use your texture item. So I'm using a bag that my onions came in. All right, you can use a sweet potato bag, oranges, lemons, limes come in these bags. If you have some lace at your house, that'll work too. Some burlap, anything with texture. A doily would be awesome. If you don't know what a doily is, ask somebody at home. My grandma was amazing at making doilies. All right, just get in this so it's not so sticky, especially before I put it on the burlap here. Feeling nice and smooth, not sticky at all. And I'm gonna lay that right down there. Ooh. Mine is just really tacky today. All right, and I'm gonna push it down and make a slab here. You are gonna be a lot more gentle with this slab than you are with the white clay slabs we make at school. This is much more of a Play-Doh consistency rather than a white clay consistency. So we can just be real gentle and about as thick as a Bob Evans pancake. I can say that because we're in Ohio. It's an Ohio restaurant. All right, and once we have it pushed down into our texture, I'm gonna flip it over. Take off my texture. So you can do this as many times as you want until you get your desired texture. That turned out pretty good, I think. All right, now you can leave this organic shape or you can use a knife and you could cut into your clay like sun rays. That would be neat. If you have a cookie cutter, you can use a cookie cutter, or if you want a circle, you could use a glass here and just push it into there and twist it and use this. I kind of like this ray, these triangles I've got going. All right, so again, you can leave your shape as it is when you flatten it. You can use a little plastic knife to cut in your own design, some cookie cutters, the circle from a glass. You get to be the artist and decide. Now I'm going to make a coil that is going to be my initial. Your initial is the first letter of your name. So I'm going to do the first letter of my last name, which is an M. So I'm just making my coil here. There we are. And I'm going to start it down here. I'm going to make a little swirl just for fun. And then my M comes down, goes back up. It's getting kind of thin, so I'm just going to break it right there. Use my knife. Uh-oh. Again, you're the artist, so you have to adapt and think and make it work. This is going to be the bottom of my M. Attach it right there. All right, so my clay is pretty wet, so it doesn't, probably it's going to stick. You can add a little bit of water to get things to stick, and the salt dough will adhere to itself. All right, and then we're going to take a straw and create a hole so that you can hang this with some ribbon, some wire, or a hook in your house. I'm going to let my initial plaque just rest here for the next 2 days to dry out before I add color to it. You can just let it air dry on your counter. You can take it outside and let the sun speed it up a little bit, or you could try an oven at a low temperature, like 150 degrees. Just make sure you have parent supervision. After it's all dried out, if you want to add color, you can. You can use acrylic paint, you can try watercolor paint, you can even try markers. All right, you can put a ribbon or a wire in it. There's lots of different possibilities. Even try using 2 different paint colors with the texture you have in the background here, or 1 color for the background and 1 color for your initial. All right, I can't wait to see your creations. Share them with me, send a picture, or if you decide to make something else inspired by textured objects and salt dough clay, I'd love to see those too. You can put them in your Google Classroom, you can email me. I can't wait to see them. Happy making, artist.